It's Classic Day at Turffontein this Saturday, and the Horse Chestnut Stakes Grade 1 and the WILGEBOSDRIFT Fillies Classic, coupled with the South African Classic for the Colts, spearhead this wonderful day's racing. Captain America has come from the Western Cape, and he'll be taking on the might of the Sean Tarry yard. Not this fella, who was victorious on this occasion, but Legal Eagle, who was an absolutely spectacular victor of the Lormarance Queen's Plate. He's not in this particular race, and this is the race in which Captain America returned to racing after the Cape summer season, exactly the same race in which he ran this time last year, which was won by Paterfamilias. On this occasion, it was Silver Scooter at the head of affairs from the Ormond Ferraris stable, who was victorious. Let's take a look at the race and see exactly how Captain America acquitted himself in just his first run on the Highveld. Given that he was victorious in last year's Grade 1 Horse Chestnut Stakes, it looks like a sparkling preparation.
Back in fourth position, followed by Africa Burn and Forest Fox, then Forest Indigo. In behind that comes Tiger's Retreat and Shadow of His Smile, but a compact field makes it down the elbow with 700 metres to go, only 6 lengths first to last. The captain's tune will guide them for home, closely tracked by Samurai Blade. Along the inside is Silver Scooter, Captain America 3 to go. Then Forest Fox and Africa Burn, behind that Tiger's Retreat. Further back Shadow of His Smile, Forest Indigo. As head on down with 300 metres to go. The captain's tune, Silver Scooter's down the inside. Captain America's got 3 to go. At this stage not quickening up. Samurai Blade, Shadow of His Smile. Further back to Africa Burn, but it's Silver Scooter going strongly with 150 to go from Samurai Blade. Silver Scooter is going to win it, and record winner number 2,499 for Ormond Ferrara. Second, Samurai Blade. Captain America third.
And so the bookmakers look like they've probably got the betting right on the money. Legal Eagle versus Captain America versus the rest. Now this is New Predator, and Johan van VUUREN has got some interesting stories to tell us about his preparation for the Horse Chestnut.
Yeah, Andrew, he hasn't been at his very best for the last couple of weeks. Even the run before, we ran fourth in a Tony Ruffle, I think it was. It wasn't at his best. He trained a bit off after the graduation plate he won at the Valia, and we've been pushing a little bit and trying to get him ready for these big races. But he wasn't right last time, and they were doing a bit too much in front early on. Actually, I think the first 2 or 3 ended up running way down the field. So I think it's a run that's completely ignored. I decided to go to the Horse Chestnut instead of the Classic. I just don't think he's a type horse that gallops. He's a very big horse, and he gallops very hard, and he uses a lot of energy when he gallops. And I think we're going to try and get him to settle now and let him run on and teach him to race, because he's just been doing everything so hard up front, and we're never going to get the best out of him against good quality fields when he has to always make the pace for the rest of the field. And I don't think right now he's good enough to beat a horse like Brazuca over 1,800 metres, and it also helped Brazuca to get in one draw closer, because he wasn't drawn too well. The field for the Horse Chestnut ended up cutting up quite nicely. It's a small field, but it's obviously there's tons of quality in there. But a horse like Captain America from a draw one, you would think that will be a decent pace, and it will be the right race for New Predator to go into and try and get him to learn how to race properly. I think the 3-year-olds are very good this year. Noah from Goa ran exceptionally well against the older horses in the Queen's Plate. So I think New Predator, Mark On recently started doing a bit of work for us, and he galloped him last week, and he said to me he's a hell of a good horse. So I think when he's coming back to his best slowly, I don't think we have him 100% where we want him yet, but it's at least it's a step in the right direction.
Excellent. Then the high-class Daughter of Fort Wood. You must have been a trifle disappointed, but having said that, you were overseas, and you said to me her prep had gone okay, but you don't win Grade 1 and Grade 2 races when the prep goes okay.
Yeah, and listen, we were disappointed when she got beaten. I wasn't entirely shocked. I thought she might still be good enough to win it. We got our bloods back like 2 weeks before that race, and we did everything we can to get these horses spot on, but a blood count just wasn't where it was supposed to be. It was okay to run. We weren't going to do any damage by running her, but on the day she just wasn't at her best. And when we got beaten, we were sitting in Australia, Lawrence and myself, and watching the races, and we were disappointed, but not entirely shocked at like what happened. Her work since then is improved. Mark also galloped her last week and said she put up a very, very good performance, and I think she's definitely better this time around than she was before Guineas run.
And then, of course, Brazuca, who you confided in me was absolutely nowhere near ready to win. His bloods weren't happy. Anton Marcus knew this, but you reckon things have gone much better since the Guineas?
Yeah, listen, he obviously travelled back from Cape Town, and with horses with that kind of merit rating, there aren't any prep runs to the Guineas wasn't an ideal prep run, but we only had a couple of weeks to get him back from Cape Town. Obviously, he was in Cape Town for quite a while. He didn't just raid down there for a race. So he had to come back here to acclimatise a little bit. We were very soft on him going into the Guineas. Him as well, his blood counts weren't really good for the Guineas. And on the day, knowing what I know, a fourth actually wasn't bad. It could have gone a lot worse than fourth. When I saw him at the back of the field, struggling a little bit, and then not really watching him because New Predator was on the pace today, so I was more concentrating on New Predator, and then saw Brazuca like running on late. It was actually, considering everything, it wasn't a bad effort at all. His work has improved. He's looking really good. It's obviously there's some seriously good horses in that race. You take a horse like Abashiri. I had a chat with Anton recently, and Anton said to me he rode that horse in Durban last year, and that's a serious horse. So I'm not going to shout my mouth off and say it's going to be a completely different race, because you've got to really respect a horse like Abashiri, and I still think he's the horse to beat. He's a very, very good horse. I just think Mo's going to run a little bit better this time around than he did in Guineas.
Andrew, you know, my dad made a statement to us in the stable a year ago that this probably would be the race where he felt she would be most effective. Her work has improved a hell of a lot since the Guineas, and we would be disappointed if she didn't contend for minor money, if not be right up there. But she really has improved over the last 4 weeks.
Obviously, Johan Jansen van Vuuren's filly was a little disappointing in the Guineas. She's going to appreciate the extra ground, the daughter of Fortwood, and Sean Terry's team obviously have to be respected, and it doesn't just end there.
Yeah, with the 3-year-old fillies around the country, you know, with the form, there's always 1 or 2 that pop up in the big races. There are the 5 or 6 around that you always throw their names in the hat, but the horses that were considered maybe not to finish in the minor money, I think you have to throw in account. The fillies are a lot closer as a group than what the colts are at the moment.
And then you've got 3 strings to your bow in the Colts Classic, which is absolutely amazing, because all 3 of them are legitimate runners. The one obviously is superior class, but there was a lot to like about the way Trading Profit won his last start, and Leclos has also been somewhat of a revelation.
Yeah, Andrew, Trading Profit, obviously with race running, we only know what we've seen coming from Mr. Ferraris's yard. He has got a wide draw to overcome, but got Bernard Fedor aboard, and who better to overcome a wide draw than a jockey of his calibre. Leclos got a great draw. He's a horse that really does like to race up there, so that's all in our advantage. He's also doing exceptionally well at home, giving Craig Zaki the opportunity, so let's hope he takes it with both hands and makes the best of it. Abashiri, you and I've spoken about him before, and I'll just go with my dad's sentiments. We'll carry on and let him do the talking. He hasn't done anything wrong.
Yeah, I must admit it was a very hard type of race for him in the Guineas, the way he had to come from a long way off the pace. He asserted himself with such authority, and I guess all you really needed to do was to keep him ticking.
Yeah, in the early parts of the race, it looked like everyone was racing just to try and beat him, the way they tried to bully him around. But Carl Zechner, tough, strong jockey, he's done nothing wrong in him, and let's just hope it continues in that manner.
Would it be fair to say that this is the kind of ground where he starts to come into his own and, you know, probably be most effective from this type of trip to the 1.5 miles?
As conditioners of Abashiri, that's what we would think on what we've seen at home. Yeah, this really looks like the distance he would enjoy, and we have always thought the Derby as well, but we'll take that next step. Let's just hopefully he comes out of this one with a checkered flag and gold trophy.
Your first runner is in the WILGEBOSDRIFT SA Fillies Classic, a Grade 1 event, numbers 10 and 12 respectively. Alexa and Christmas Carol, patently looking for this kind of trip, we think.
Yeah, definitely. Firstly, Christmas Carol, she actually pulled up coughing actually badly after the Fillies Guineas. That clearly wasn't her run. I knew it was a bit short for her, but I did actually think she would be competitive, certainly first half of the field. Much better than that, Andy. She's over it now and back to herself. And this 1800 will, be more to her liking, although probably the Oak Strip, I think, eventually for her. But happy with her and putting up some very good work at home, as is Alexa. I always thought probably a mile was her best trip, and I don't think she would have missed a place if she'd had a decent draw last time. I mean, she came from the clouds to I think she only finished up about 7th, but it was all short heads across the way. From a decent draw, she would have been very, very much closer. And Raymond was bemoaning his luck. He just said it's just not fair. You're out of the race almost before you start. Not much better draw here, but a little bit further to deal with it. And ride her quietly, conservatively. She's got a wonderful kick and kind of holding thumbs, but doing very well.
Moving on to the classic itself, horse number 13, drawn 10 is Valatal, the son of Captainal out of the Varmare, and Chase Morjan jumps away from Stallgate 10.
Yeah, not an ideal draw once again, but I think he's pretty straightforward now, this horse, Andy, and if you can get him out, you can probably place him, hopefully with not too much trouble. And the way he won the Igoli Mile, I think the 1800 will probably be even more suitable for him. I sort of said at the time in the interview afterwards that it was actually the first win that I've been satisfied with him, because he shows terrifically good work at home. And his first race he won, maiden 14 at the Vaal, so, in my view, fell over the line. I wasn't impressed. Then he won a 1700 also at the Vaal, made heavy weather of it, and then he lost his way a little bit. And since gelding, actually, it's been a complete turnaround. I mean, that was his first run back from gelding, and I thought it was a great run, training beautifully at home. And, I take that last run, i.e. a good 3 lengths win, as his form. That's what he's about. And I think his merit rating would be a great deal higher than what it is, possibly if we'd geld him a little sooner. But take nothing away. I mean, Abashiri looks like the horse to beat. I thought his Guineas win was very impressive, and quite a few in there that are strong. But he's not the type of horse that I'd be inclined to leave out, because I think he's a big improver.
So there's a decent campaign for him, and at least you're going to know exactly where he fits into the picture after Saturday.
Well, exactly. I think you always want to know, is your horse a handicapper or is he a weight for ager? And I think the race will tell. And, if he doesn't feature well, then he's a handicapper. But I like to think, just judging by horses that we've had in the past, he's better than just an ordinary horse. He's a smart horse.
Our thanks to Jeff Woodruff, Johan Jansen van Vuuren, and Adam AZZIE. And the next man we'll be speaking to in the next episode of The Road to the Triple Crown will be champion trainer Sean Tarry, and of course young Clayton Mathie representing Team de Kock.